That's what you
That's
find.
awesome.
Cool. Now, Patrick, you rolled a 5, which is extremely low. So you start digging around and you find one of the biggest piles out there. But you're not interested in what's on the surface level. You're able to kind of finagle your way inside and kind of find light enough things for you to kind of cast aside, and you dig kind of deeper within this pile of scrap. And as you do so, you accidentally hit a piece of girder that was kind of being a bit of a load bearer, and you're able to scramble off to the side, but a very, very small, slight garbage scrap landslide kind of hits. And as the bits of metal and bolts and other sorts of materials finally settle down to the base of the ground, you see this black fin shape kind of stick out of the side of the pile. And as you continue to look and discover and clear out more area, you see what seems to be, now you're not 100% sure, but it's about 20 feet long and 10 foot wide. It is both in a black, it's mostly white, but of course with some rust here and there, and with little black accents painted on. And you could swear that what you found is a space shuttle. It might be a space shuttle. It certainly has the plating of something that can take a high heat resistance. Some of the markings on it, since you know archaeology as well, and pre-Rift's time, the markings on it, the serial numbers on it, the terminology of the words on it, the words NASA, the letters NASA, that rings a bell to you, and you're like, you're pretty sure either this thing was designed to go to space or it has been in space. Now, you don't know how great of a repair it's in, of course. Certainly, the engine looks like it's been tampered with and like rodents have nested in it. But for lack of better words, you did find a two-passenger space shuttle.
Yay.
I hope this is cool for you guys.
Yes.
That's amazing.
All right.
Patrick's gonna go to the moon.
It's no, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I think Al's lower role is that he's too concentrated on looking at the pictures.
Okay. Last roll.
All right. No whammies. No whammies. No whammies.
Oh, okay. This might take me a little bit more to think about because those are all actually very good, pretty good rolls. Like, they're all like about 50% or lower. So I gotta go out with a boom, so to speak. Okay. Al,
Yes.
you come across. Okay. So this is relatively strange because a lot of stuff that you're seeing is from vehicles or for home use. And you actually come across what appears to be an old cybernetic limb. However, this cybernetic limb, looks like it takes the place of someone's left arm, but it's not shaped like a human arm typically. What it is from the shoulder to the elbow, it's just a regular human bicep. However, from the elbow to the wrist, it actually splits in two. It seems to be meant to be that way, to actually act like a set of crab pincers. And inlaid underneath of it, luckily it's not activated, but seems to be like a set of teeth. They look like teeth, like the teeth of an animal or a crocodile, but you are able to notice that a mega damage field can go over these teeth, so it itself could be a very powerful pincer weapon. And knowing a little bit of cybernetics yourself because you own some, it seems that if you flex the bicep muscle, if this was actually installed into a person, it could actually cause these jaws to clamp up and down. So, once again, you're not 100% how good a repair it is. You're not a cyberdoc yourself, but it's definitely a very strange find. In fact, let's see here. Roll me a paramedic check.
All right. Yes.
Wow. Okay, very good. In fact, the design is so bizarre and so unwieldy for a human being, you're thinking that this was designed for something else that isn't human, or perhaps maybe it was designed someplace else as well that wasn't Earth. Or the knowledge of that was from someone who was from somewhere else and they built it on Earth. Either way, it seems to almost be an alien in design.
I was going to just toss it back until you said that, and now I'm thinking maybe Patrick might like it.
Perhaps.
Because, yeah, Al wouldn't have much interest in it, but if Patrick does...
Here's our doc, Dr. Chomps. Chunk, chunk, chunk. Let me check your temperature.
Hey, Patrick, I'll trade you for the spaceship.
No. I'm gonna go straight to the moon.
Tom,
Yes.
you search around, and you are able to find something that stands out because it's not actually made of metal or plastic or any other type of alloy. This is actually made of wood. And what it is you pick it up. It's a small box made of pine. It has a deep brown dye onto it, and on top of it itself is just a small picture of a rose that is kind of inlaid onto the top of the box. And you kind of shake it around a little bit, and it doesn't move. It doesn't sound like there's anything inside of it, but when you open up the lid, sure enough, this wonderful light tune starts to play, and the picture of it looks like a human woman, very, very small, kind of starts to fade up into view, and a holograph of a ballerina starts to dance around along the surface of this box. It does that for about 60 minutes, sorry, not 60 minutes, 60 seconds before the sweet little tune dies down and it's completed. And if you close the lid and open up again, it does it once more.
That's cool.
Cool. Okay. And Patrick. Let's see here. Okay. Patrick, after your escapades with the space shuttle, I'm assuming you don't steer too far away. So you actually start to pick through the kind of little mudslide, or I guess I should say scrap slide but scrap slide that you kind of started. And you started to pick through some of the stuff that was unearthed. And you come across another version of your personal computer that you have. However, it seems to be of a newer model. You have the model is 3001, and this is a 3025, which is very interesting because as far as you know, no manufacturers today presently actually makes that model. It might be something of pre-Rift's origin. Unfortunately, the screen is completely cracked and a lot of the casing itself is damaged, and even the insides look like there's things missing. However, you do notice two things. One is that the hard drive seems to be intact. In addition, its processor, which seems to be more advanced than your own, is fully removable and intact. If you wish, you could probably install this into your own personal computer and ramp up the speed and memory of it. And who knows what is actually on that hard drive? You'd actually have to go in and check it out.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So that is that.
He's
We'll wait.
ecstatic about all these things.
So once Al comes back, you guys can show everything that you found, and you guys can take a vote on what's the coolest. Kriana, I know you're a little bit busy here, but I do recognize that when we first went to New Laszlo, you really, 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 really wanted to go to the Chestnut Gardens, which is the park there.
Yes.
So, is it fair to say that while the boys are playing around in the yard, that Mila is spending some good quality time there at the playground?
Yes.
In fact, since a lot of the performances are at that area, Mila will come across Alicia, and they'll spend some time. Of course, Alicia has to work too, but they'll spend a little bit of time together while Mila plays on the playground. Now, would she share the time with the kids, or would she be like, "Out of the way, Timmy, it's my turn on the swings," or would she be a little bit more patient with that?
She would. It depends. If Timmy was a jerk, she might be like, "No, it's my turn now."
Okay, fair enough. So, but pretty much, is Mila acting like just a big kid?
Yes.
Okay. So, because of Mila's enthusiasm and relative kindness, no one asks security to ask you to leave. Obviously, Mila gets some very strange looks from passersby, as she's just one of the kids who's going down the slides and riding on like the crazy, like DB, like the Fury Beetle rocking horse pretty thing and the swings and everything like that. But you're able to play around unmolested. Alicia does stop by to ask if everything's going okay. And I'm sure with some assurances that you're just having a grand old time. She kind of just gives a smile and a shrug, and after some conversation, lets you get back to it. But of course,
It's like, Alicia, I got very important business to do. Go outside! And like runs away.
I like that. That's very cool. That's great. So that's a good way to explain what Mila's doing in the afternoon while the fellas are in the scrapyard. So cool. All right. Let's see here. Oh, you're back.
I'm
Squid.
back. Yes, I'm back.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to have you gents, while I get myself a drink of water, I'll have you gents confer and take a vote on the quote-unquote most cool find of the evening.
Real quick before you go, Inferno.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A serious question here, actually. Would
Oh.
Al and especially Tom, would we really know a lot about space and travel? Would this be a concept that's completely foreign to us?
The concept isn't foreign, because anyone who looks up into the skies and they wonder what's out there, right? But like our modern knowledge of like planets and stars and space travel and everything like that, maybe your characters would have heard a little bit of that, like people coming from the stars and old myths or stories or whatnot. But Al, in particular, your coalition upbringing, there might be a few mentions of space, but traveling to space, being able to travel to space, would be a very, very new and foreign concept to you.
Would I mean, like, at that point, is it much different than, say, an airplane that I know, like he knows airplanes can fly, this would just be an airplane that can fly higher?
Yeah. Even technically, power armor could go into space, but breaking through the atmosphere, no one has really bothered to do that, really.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah. And Tom, since your upbringing was in a less propaganda-centric, controlled knowledge environment, there might have been some stories about space travel, but those are the things of myth, really.
Yeah.
Okay. But Patrick, however, being very knowledgeable, or relatively knowledgeable of the time before the rifts, would have definitely the most idea of the form and function of his find. So
Okay.
I'll be right back as you guys discuss.
Al's gonna slowly come over, still staring at his viewfinder, carrying the lightsaber and the. I just realized he would know. He'd be like, "Oh, this is like in that movie."
Yeah, and Tom
Did
would
he
know
actually
too.
see?
Yeah, we all
we
saw
watched
Star
See the
Wars.
Episode
first
one.
one.
Yeah, we all saw
Yeah,
the first
we
Star
watched
Wars
episode
movie.
1.
So yeah, and then the arm he'd have slung over his shoulder.
Mm. Well, I have a music box.
I don't even
a
know
pair of
how I'm gonna
handlebars,
move
and-
mine.
What did you find?
Well,
I found a spaceship.
What?
Yeah, I found a spaceship. And this, and he just kind of lugs over the large piece of metal. It's a custom front for the ATV. It's got flames on it.
Mm. What's a spaceship?
Yay!
Well, it is a ship that is made to get us far enough into the air, all the way to outer space.
You know, Patrick, we've traveled a lot together. I trust you, but I think you're bullshitting me right now.
And Al's just like,
Well-
I don't. What?
That's not
No
possible.
comprende.
Yeah, no comprende.
That's not possible.
I think that Al's just like, so it's just it goes higher.
Yeah, you know the moon, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. As much as I really researched, I don't really know if there was any other sort of significant space travel, but people have been up to that moon with these ships.
I think Al's
Well,
eyes would
no,
get really
that's-
wide, and he'd
That's
be
a
like,
fairy tale.
"Is that possible?"
That's
Yeah,
a fairy
you-
tale.
You can actually get on the moon with these ships.
Al's gonna start looking towards the sky like a little nervous, like people of. Huh. That's. Huh. I found a robotic arm.
Look what it can do.
I know it wasn't made for humans. Might not have even been made in this dimension. Not really sure. I don't have much use for it, but I thought, Patrick, you might have fun going over it. And he just kind of handed it to Patrick.
Yes. Mm.
And
Second.
and look, and he'd like hold it up to Tom's eyes and change the pictures.
Oh, of the viewfinder.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty awesome. That would be pretty mind blowing.
Mm.
No, well, not super mind blowing, but neat. You guys did watch the movie Armageddon after all.
And we did watch Star Wars,
And-
so I know what the lightsaber
Oh
is.
shit! You guys watched the movie Armageddon and the Phantom Menace.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we do
No
know
idea
space.
fake travel,
Oh.
but those are just
Oh, we
fictional
do.
movies, right?
Wait. So Al would be like, so that, and points to the ship, can get us to the people who use these, and he points to the lightsaber.
Yes.
Theoretically, yes. But
Cool.
if it's a galaxy far, far away, I don't think it has enough speed to get there before our lifetime's over.
Hmm.
What if we use a lot of fuel?
Maybe.
I have to say that as cool as the viewfinder is, and I think Al thinks it's really, really cool, the idea that that little ship thing can get us to what we saw in Star Wars or do what we saw in Armageddon is pretty cool.
So your vote is for the shuttle.
My vote is for the shuttle.
All right. What's your vote for, Tom?
Well, I've got a couple of Eclipse. I've got some awesome handlebars. I've got a music box. But that's a vehicle. I think the vehicle wins out.
As much as my character would love to, like, I think he's super interested in the arm. Just the concept of having something that's pre-riffs and something as awesome as going into space, he's gonna have to go with the ship.
Awesome. All right. So the losers will buy Patrick's drinks.
Yay!
Okay.
The actual
Now,
losers.
not-
You're all winners. So now let me know what your guys are gonna take out with you in the scrapyard, and then I will come up with the donation, so to speak. That you'll
I'm
have.
going to take all of them, the ones I found.
Okay.
Oh, I want all of them.
Okay.
I might not take the chassis just because as much as I would probably like to have
Sweet
a
flames on your
custom-
ATV. Yeah.
It would probably not match the rest of the vehicle.
No,
Even
well-
though, it might. Mainly because it's like freaking a patch job outside anyway.
It's true. It is. Yeah, you did patch some stuff on it. It's up to you.
It's just it's another part of something that he could like fix and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll bring it around.
Okay, so everything. Okay, so you let the DB Orc, who doesn't introduce himself, by the way, so you don't know his name. He's really just there for all business, and he takes a look at things that you have, and the way he works is that he does it by weight. All right, so for all the things that you brought out to him, the weight of that is probably only going to be you only have to pay 50 credits. However, for the shuttle weighs a lot more, and he says in a gruff way, goes, "Oh, okay, well, you want to take the entire thing, huh?"
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Well, you gotta find a way, or haul it out yourself, or hire someone to get it out of the scrap yard. But going by weight, 200 credits.
Sounds good to me.
Oh my God, how will we ever afford it?
Hey,
Shush.
not everyone. That's 200 like real money dollars.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes people need that for food.
Al would actually hold up the diesel battery and said, "Do you know where I could get something like this, perhaps?"
The orc kind of scratches the top part of his neck there and goes, your best bet is to check out the,
And then Al would be
Yeah.
like, "I'm so sorry. I just thought of a better idea, but thank you."
okay. Fair enough. He was gonna say, never mind. You don't know what he was gonna say. You said you're good. Wait, where did I put it? Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, I know where. Anyways, all right. So, small problem, perhaps. I don't know. Like I said, that shuttle, 10 foot by 20 foot, and it's probably a good 7 feet tall.
Mhm.
It weighs probably about 3 tons.
Oh boy.
How are you gonna get it out?
That's a good question because we cannot really actually get our vehicle. Well, you know what? We would probably have to get some sort of permit and whatnot. But I think if the streets are large enough, you might be able to get a behemoth through because it has no lethal weapons on it.
Well, what you could do, no, there are mini missiles on your behemoth.
I was gonna say its feet.
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
Faster
okay.
mini missiles on.
That's kind of okay because the scrapyard is actually located outside of New Laszlo proper. It's on the strip where mega damage items are allowed to travel. Now, you wouldn't be able to navigate the behemoth inside the scrapyard itself. It's just too narrow and like there's just many piles of crap. And ironically, they don't want the behemoth stepping on it. They don't want it to step on their literal garbage. But a lot of collectors here are just like, whoa, you might crush something, invaluable, right?
How much can
So-
my I'm sorry.
It's probably got the power.
Sorry. Go
That's okay. That's all right. So what you could do is you could bring the behemoth just outside the scrapyard, and perhaps either yourselves haul it out somehow, or hire someone with the proper vehicle to drag it out. Now, the second problem is that something that size, you already have a hovercycle, a motorcycle, and your ATV, plus a few suits of power armor. Power armor's not that big of a problem. But in your actual bay of your behemoth, I don't know if you'll be able to fit that shuttle in with everything else.
We could strap
You
it
might.
on top. Could we do that?
Let's not do that.
No.
What you could do is purchase a simple truck and have it like a flatbed truck, so to speak, and load it on that, and then just drive it around with you. Heck, you could even, well,
If
Okay.
he could probably just bring it into like a living quarters or something like that.
Let's see here. Getting it through the front door would be tricky. Okay, well, let's not say no completely. Okay. This is what I'll say. All right. You will need, you, Patrick,
Mhm.
because what you could do is load it through the shuttle bay. And what you would have to do, though, is spend some time inside the behemoth, taking down one of the walls between the two rooms and making enough space for you to bring it through your shuttle bay into those rooms. You know what I mean? You'd still probably need to hire some like Borgs or other, mechanically gifted individuals to actually pick it up and move it for you. But I'm going to say if you spend some time when you're in New Laszlo to do that, by the time you leave, you'll be able to get that shuttle in there.
All right.
Okay.
What I'm thinking of doing is, whatever like work area that I have, whatever the basically the workbench area,
Okay.
wherever I do the sort of like scraps and
Yeah,
stuff
the
like
little
that.
lab that you have, yeah.
I'm thinking of actually just expanding that so I can put it in there. So
Yeah,
I can.
yeah.
so-
I'm trying to picture it in my head. I think that's feasible, yeah.
And for movement, we do have 2 power armors
You
that
do.
we can use.
You do.
Uh,
Let's see here.
I was
just
actually just looking that up. I don't know. It says my power armor, the Samson, the big one, has a physical strength equal to 30, but I don't know what that means.
That's 30 and it's augmented. Well, no, it's 30 physical strength. So you know how like your physical strength is like 9 or 10? Well, that's like 30, right?
Right.
So give me just 2 seconds while you guys check that out, and I can just quickly see how heavy an augmented physical strength of 30 can get you. Because I said 3 tons, right? So that's 1.5 tons per. So it might not be. You guys might actually be able to just do it with your own things. Let's see here. Physical strength, raw physical power. Okay. Oh, different applications. There we go. Lifting weight. That's what you want to do. No, you want to carry it, actually. Strong characters, 20 times. Supernatural creatures. Whoa. Okay, so augmented you can carry, we'll say about 30 times your physical strength. So 30 times 30
900.
is 900 pounds. Now Inferno goes to the internet and see how many pounds are in a ton.
2,000.
Wait a bit. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is 2,000. So, yeah, those 2 power armors, we'll round it up even to 1,000 each. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But those 2 power armor, 2 people in that power armor will be able to lift 1 ton of the 3-ton vehicle. So, yeah, you'll need to hire someone else to do that to
Alright.
help you.
Fair enough.
All right. So yes, we're going to need definite help moving this thing. Unless we want to disassemble it piecemeal, which would probably take way too much time. We should probably just hire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right then.
Okay. If you want, I'll make this a little bit easier for you. Ignite Systems, that's pretty much the repair bay, gas station, energy supplies that's also out here on this strip. They can offer that service to you. We don't need to role play the haggling or anything like that. Well, just it's a conglomerate of independent operators, and one crew, I guess you could say, have three Borg laborers that work for them, in addition to the operator who himself can operate power armor. So they do have a truck and some pulleys, so they can get it outside from the scrapyard to just outside the scrapyard to where you can park your behemoth. They can move that out for a simple fee of, it's just a quick rental truck. It shouldn't take them very long, 300 credits, pretty much.